It's the 27th of April 2017. A very good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. I'm Zola Outscoon. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. First, a look at the headlines. Hartal stage in several towns demanding justice be meted out for missing persons. Vote on Sri Lanka's GSP Plus application today. Starting off with our lead story this afternoon, now a Hartal campaign is being carried out across the northern province today, charging that justice be meted out with regard to those who went missing during the war.
Our correspondent said that the Hartal commenced in support of the hunger strike carried out over the past 64 days in the Vavuniya town by the relatives of missing persons. While all shops in the main towns of the northern province have been closed as a result of the Hartal, public transport services too have been disrupted. Meanwhile, a group supporting the Hartal campaign is protesting in the Vavuniya clock tower, obstructing vehicular movement on the A9 road.
On to yet another story that made it to the headlines. Now, the vote on the proposal presented to the EU Parliament with regard to granting the GSP Plus concession to Sri Lanka is to take place today. Now, a number of members of the EU Parliament tabled the proposal on the 22nd of April. The group points out that the GSP Plus concession should not be granted to Sri Lanka. The group of MPs point out that the government has not fulfilled its commitments in re-obtaining the concession, adding that a number of issues existed with regard to Sri Lanka's labour laws. The group further points out that according to a report released by the UNHRC recently, the progress made by Sri Lanka in the field of human rights too is insufficient. Now, speaking in News First from Brussels, Deputy Foreign Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva says that Sri Lanka will be able to defeat the proposal and progress forward in obtaining the GSP Plus concession.
Early morning here in Brussels now. By 11:30 or sometime during 11:30 and 2:30, the European Parliament will take for vote the resolution or rather the motion by a group of members of European Parliament that Sri Lanka should not be given GSP Plus. In fact, there was no issue until the 11th hour when a group of MEPs passed this motion and wanted a vote on the subject. So we got received here. The embassy had been doing their own canvassing. I personally met with the respective members of European Parliament who brought this motion against Sri Lanka. I explained to them technically, economically, politically what this means and why they should not be objecting to the trade concession to given to Sri Lanka. I spoke to the different political groups and I am now totally convinced that we have the numbers to defeat the motion, which means that before I leave Brussels at 3:30 this afternoon, I hope to be able to announce the good news to Sri Lanka that we will be getting GSP Plus in the next couple of weeks.
Well, now a detailed report of this story will follow on our primetime news tonight at 9. Meanwhile, in news from the President's diary, the President has instructed officials to take decisions with regard to the development of irrigation projects following a comprehensive study into the changes in the weather. The head of state expressed these views at a progress review meeting held at the Ministry of Mahavili Development and Environment last evening. The President's media division said that discussions were held with regard to the future of ongoing projects and new projects related to the development of irrigation. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj says that a new program has been launched in collaboration to prevent or limit access of Indian fishermen violating maritime boundaries. She adds that steps will be taken to introduce fishermen into deep water fishing within the coming 3 years. Sushma Swaraj made these remarks when Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe met her in New Delhi while on an official tour. Swaraj also noted that issuance of licenses for bottom trawling vessels have been halted within the country. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also met with the Indian Minister of Home Affairs, Rajnath Singh. Important points of discussion between the two surrounded on regional and global terrorism, drug trafficking, methods of curbing illegal acts and human terrorism. The press conference of the Kansai Nerolac Paints Lanka Private Limited was held at Stein Studios last night. The company is a joint venture between Capital Holdings Maharaja Private Limited, a subsidiary of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited, and Kansai Paints, Japan.
Spectacular dance in celebration of the new company filled the auditorium with the elegant beauty and color of Japan. CEO Group Director Mohan Burara looked at the future of the company with optimism.
This is a more than 25.
Well, on that note, we wrap up this edition of Lunchtime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. We'll see you again at 1:55 with the latest.